Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 145 of the Run in the Paint podcast. I'm Miles here with Joey, Nick, and Ben. Guys, how are you doing today?
Feeling good, feeling great, ready for another action packed episode.
Yeah, excited to go over these shooting guards. Excited to see who you guys got. I think there's gonna be a lot of parity, a lot of different names that we hear tonight, but it should be fun.
Yes, sir. That's what we got today, the top 10 shooting guards, and we'll get to that pretty quickly here. Not a whole lot of news around the league, but quickly, let's talk about the NBA schedule. It released today as we're recording the full thing. Always one of my favorite days of the year. Right when it opens, I'm going through checking to see any fun things around the schedule, and there are definitely some interesting things to talk about so far. I guess the first thing, we have four teams tied for the league lead in national TV games this season at 34. We have the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder, and then three big markets, the New York Knicks, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Golden State Warriors. Joey, what are your thoughts about that initially, those four teams all getting the most amount of national TV games?
It kind of makes sense just because Lakers, New York, and Golden State's a big market now, so it makes sense having those three. Surprised maybe not one of the teams in Texas, just because there is like three of them that are all like very high profile players that the NBA loves to show off. So surprised not one of them are at the top, but them and then the defending national champs, it makes sense. Or world champs. Sorry.
Yeah, Ben, what are your thoughts about all those teams getting the most amount of games, and any other thoughts about what you've seen from the schedule so far?
Yeah, speaking of the teams tied for first, of course, it's well deserved for the Thunder. They're just such a good team, such a fun young core. They were the defending champs, of course, and then you got the Lakers and the Warriors and the Knicks. I mean, they're a big surprise to me. I mean, these teams these past few years have got a lot of nationally televised games. And yeah, the Warriors and the Lakers. I mean, I just kind of think they got a bit too much, but I get why the NBA did it. They want to show off Steph and LeBron, of course, two two legends still. But I mean, would have liked some more to some other teams. I mean, the Cavs got a good amount, maybe a few more to the Cavs or I don't know. That
Yeah, Miles,
really what I think now.
you said the Celtics have more national TV games than the Cavs. What do you think about that?
Celtics having 25. I mean, I guess, but it's also like I feel like there is a world where this is just a gap year because Tatum is injured. And I have a feeling that if that really is how this goes and Jaylen Brown ends up missing games, then their 25 games is going to go down a decent bit because it's not going to be much very interesting to see the Celtics on TV at all. I actually found this chart on X here that has the full chart
Oh,
and the full
nice.
outlook of national TV games. The arrows indicate the increase or the decrease from their amount last season. Nick, what are your thoughts about the national TV distribution, shall we say?
Rockets seem to have taken a very large leap. Just looking at this chart here, but yeah, makes sense that they would have the big market teams having a lot of national TV games. That's what people want to see. That's what sells money. I'm just looking through it here. Like one of the games that are on my radar early in the season is this November 4th game in Atlanta between the Hawks and the Magic.
Yeah.
Both those teams are going to be fighting for the top four seed in the East and haven't really have something to prove. So like that'll be an interesting matchup early in the season to see how they go.
Yeah, for sure. I'm already excited for all these games. We still have a couple months to go till we get to that.
Detroit, though, too.
What's up?
Detroit, though, too.
Yeah, Detroit got an increase. I'm a little surprised Detroit got more than the Sixers and the Magic. And Atlanta, too. I'm a little surprised there.
The one thing you were telling me that sticks out to me is obviously the Pacers staying at not only 9. They were one game away from winning the championship, and they're staying at only 9. We obviously know why, but still, it is a little shocking.
One thing is that almost all these teams are increasing. Like, not many teams are losing games.
Yeah, and it also it kind of makes sense because I can go through kind of the distribution of how the national networks are doing these games because now, especially now that we're in the first year of the new TV deal with NBC, Peacock, Amazon, still with ESPN and ABC, once the football season is over and we get Thursday NBA games on Prime, every single weekday there's going to be games on a national network and even the weekend as well. So I think that's why you see the big increases through like across the board. Like really the only decreases we have are, let's see, the 76ers, like
Suns, Pelicans.
yeah, the Suns, the Pelicans, the Miami Heat at 5. That's got to be one of their lowest in the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But definitely makes sense there. Yeah, I mean, is it biased to say that I'm surprised the Cavs don't have more? I mean, it seems a little odd that the second favorite to win the title is in the 8th spot for the most games.
Yeah.
But we still did go up like a whole lot if you just look at that. We went from 9 or 8 to all the way.
I would say that they're right where I would expect them to be.
Yeah, I guess so too. Yeah, that's probably the right amount of games for them as well because you got to be able to showcase a lot of talent throughout the league. And something to take into account, I guess, with the Cavs number is that since they're in the East, a majority of their matchups aren't going to be that interesting. And that's why like the Cavs and Knicks matchups are going to, that's why they're the two clear favorites because they are very, very good teams. And they're also playing in a weak conference. So a lot of the competitive games are going to be these interconference games between the Western Conference.
Yeah, the Cavs had like one of the highest point differentials last year. So, yeah, it's another reason for sure. But what did Joakim Noah say? Nobody vacations in Cleveland?
Oh,
He did say, that's right, he did.
It's a legendary line.
That's right, he did. Some other notes from the schedule, getting away from the national view here. The leaders in back-to-backs throughout the league. It seems like every year they're trying to decrease the amount. I haven't gone through to see if they have actually, decreased it all this season. But we have 5 teams that are tied for the league lead in back-to-backs this season at 16. We have 3 teams that probably aren't going to be, competitive too much making the playoffs in the Wizards, the Hornets, and the Suns. But also we have the Denver Nuggets and the Philadelphia 76ers. Boy, oh boy. That's got to be one of the worst things about this schedule if you're a Sixer fan.
That's horrendous. First off, they should be able to get back-to-backs down to like 15 and under by now. But that's ridiculous, but that is absolutely horrific. I'm so sorry, Sixer fans.
Yeah, it's like we're probably projecting them to definitely have a better season. I mean, it was just a brutal year for them last year, but man,
out of 82 games, that's 16 scheduled losses, pretty much.
Literally.
Yeah, it's 32 games you're playing on back-to-backs. It's insane. And there are some other weird quirks in the schedule too, like obviously, since we're Cavs fans, I was going through the Cavs schedule and the NBA Cup. It's very strange. The day after the NBA Cup championship, I know the Cavs in particular have a game like the next day. So like a team like them are basically incentivized to not win the NBA Cup title because they have another game the next day. Like they can't even celebrate.
Yeah, and the title doesn't count for regular season.
Right. So the more important game is that next day. It's crazy. But yeah,
they need to figure that stuff out for sure. It's a conflict of interest.
Yeah, because I'm sure the Cavs are not the only team with that situation. But yeah, just excited for the schedule to get released. And after all these player rankings, we'll finally be going in depth on all these teams and their outlook for next season. But for now, let's get into our top 10 shooting guards list. Now, this one, not as much talent as that point guard position, which is just so incredibly loaded. We have all-stars level players like at 15, 16 overall on the list that didn't even make the cut for top 10. Shooting guards, it's similar to where it's pretty top heavy, especially the top 3, but then the rest, you can kind of consider all these players to be high-end role players to borderline all-stars and stuff like that. So like Nick said, there should be a lot of parity and this should be a lot of fun. Housekeeping stuff, if you missed the last one, we are including injured players on this list, although I think for the shooting guard position, I don't think there are many injured guys, this season, which is definitely good. So, yeah, I guess that's really the only note of interest. Let's see. Ben, you want to get us started here with your number 10 shooting guard?
Yeah, I can. Just barely making the cut here for me at number 10 is Jalen Green, who, of course, is now on the Phoenix Suns. Last year on the Houston Rockets, and yeah, he just barely made the cut because, I mean, he did have a nice regular season last year. He scored the ball well. I mean, scored it pretty well on nights for teams that didn't
Yeah,
really
he was, I
have
think, the
much
6th.
great scores. That was like impressive. We talked about that in the pre-pad lobby as being impressive from him in the regular season. Yeah, the playoffs were just disappointing. I mean, look, if he had a pretty good playoff, he could have been rated higher on this list for me, but it wasn't great. He's got some stuff to improve, but I'm projecting still that he can, get back to being a nice player in Phoenix, a nice second scorer alongside Baker. So yeah, I have him here.
Yeah, Nick, what were you about to say? He was 6th in this position in scoring in the league this season, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's right. He's still only like 22 or 23, and always I thought had shades of Zach LaVine in him, and well, if you can model your game off that guy, like he's going to be someone we mentioned later on our list, couple-time All-Star. So still a lot of room for him to grow and improve, and we'll see what he's got with the Phoenix Bums out there this year. Maybe in a couple years he'll have another chance to show what he's got in the playoffs.
Yeah, I had him just missed my list. I actually had him on my list, and then I crossed him off pretty quickly because there's other guys that I thought of again. I was like, no, I'd rather have, like we talked about when we were doing our point guard list, kind of like, would I have this guy over? Yeah, I kind of would.
Yeah, I barely had him off as well. He would have definitely made it if he had a better playoffs, but I mean, just the fact that, I mentioned it before during the offseason, he averaged 13 points per game in the Warriors series, and that included like a 40-point game or something like that.
Right.
The 38-point game in game 2, which means, let's see, so 38 in game 2. Quick math here, he scored 45 points in the other 6 games of the series. Like, that's just not going to cut it, and that's the reason why he didn't make the cut for my list. All these other guys, for the most part, have shown what they can do in the playoffs. But, still to score 21 points per game and lead the second seed in the West, that really wasn't a very good offensive team, in scoring, is very impressive, and I'm glad that he did make one of our lists at the very least.
Who do you have at 10, Miles?
My number 10, I have someone that was probably the complete opposite of Jalen Green, someone who had a pretty subpar regular season, but once again stepped up a bunch in the playoffs. I've got Andrew Nembhard at number 10. He made my list at number 10. And that's
I wanted to put him on so bad.
He just missed mine. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, I thought I should give him some love here, but for the playoffs that he had last year. I mean, once again, another weird circumstance where he shoots like 29-30% from 3, and then immediately in the playoffs starts hitting dagger shots, shoots like 50% from 3 nearly in the playoffs. It's crazy. So for him, I have him at number 10, and honestly, with the Halliburton injury this season, I would be very surprised if he wasn't a lock on this list at this time next year, because he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more. And he is definitely someone that should be a low-key candidate to make his first All-Star game, especially in a weaker Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I love the pick. I went with Derek White here, though.
I also did, and for kind of the same exact reason Miles was saying, like about Nembhard. Like, next year, the Celtics are going to have to rely on him to be scoring, and maybe a potential all-star for the first time.
Yeah, kind of a similar role and player to Nembhard, but obviously Nembhard really excelled in that role and showed his true colors of what he can be in the playoffs. I mean, not to mention like his defensive skills. I mean, Derek White. It was like, yeah, it was a toss up between those two guys to put at this 10 spot here, but both very deserving, and I'm glad that we have both of them on the list to mention. So
Agreed.
Yeah, I actually have Derek White a little higher on the list for those same reasons as well. So I have him pretty high on this list, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Ben, who is your number 9?
Number 9, I have Norman Powell.
Me too,
too.
Ben.
Last year on
Hey, all three of us.
Nice.
Do I have it? Oh, he's on mine too. He's number 9 for me. All right,
Oh,
across the
Wow.
board, Stormin' Norman at number 9, man. Wow.
I thought there was gonna be more parody than this. Look at us.
Agreed.
Look at us.
Yeah,
Ben, tell us about Norm. He had a great year for the Clippers, huh?
he had a great year for the Clippers. I was especially impressed with him in the beginning of the year. Him alongside James Harden really stepped up and scored the ball great while Kawhi was out to start the year, and he plays a good defense too last year to Norman Powell. And yeah, I mean, he just played better than I expected last year. Like, a lot of people thought, and he was scoring pretty good throughout the season and plays good defense, brings a good attitude. And, I'm projecting going to next year that he could do that same kind of stuff for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a bigger role in Miami. I'm excited to see what he's got in store for us this year. But Stormin' Norman was somebody who I didn't realize had quite the track record of being a great scorer and stuff. And then last year in LA didn't really do anything out of the ordinary for him, but kind of saw an increased role and took the opportunity and ran with it. So I'm glad that we all got him at number 9. Let's go.
I was about to say, I'm like, the year prior, when he was a 6th Man of the Year candidate, he was averaging 14 points. This year, he's averaging almost 22 this past season. And when before he was averaging 5 threes a game, this year it was 7. And he shot it at still a 42% clip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it shows how good of a scorer he is that he increased his shot attempts by like 6 per game this season and was like, honestly, the number 1 scoring option, because to start the year, Harden was looking to get Powell and Zubats involved, and he kept the same efficiency. I mean, how many guys can increase their shots and their load by that much? Once again, on a pretty, to start the season, a pretty weak offensive team and still put up those types of numbers. A very impressive year. He was in all-star conversations, at the time. It was crazy. And now, yeah, he's with the Miami Heat. Interested to see how that goes. Him and Tyler Hero in the same backcourt. We'll see if Powell is still a starter, because defensively, Powell can be a scrappy defender, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Norman Powell, all of us at number 9. That's kind of crazy. So
yeah, that was crazy.
So let's move on to number 8. Nick, who is your number 8 shooting guard?
All right, I went with Amen Thompson. Second, just not really a whole lot of track record for Amen. He's only going into his 3rd year.
Hold
on, Nick. Is Amen not a small forward?
Yeah.
Incorrect position.
Okay, well then scratch that. I'll go with RJ Barrett here then.
Wait, hold on. Just so that it doesn't get confusing later. Did you already have RJ Barrett on your list?
No, he was the first one off.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right, so that works. That works out. All right.
Yeah, I'll go with RJ then. RJ, he's actually 1 spot higher than Jalen Green in terms of scoring above shooting. So he's top 5 scorers and shooting guards, and he's real dangerous with the ball in his hands. He's got, I think he averaged over 20 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Like, definitely not a one-dimensional player by any means. And yeah, I'm glad that I was able to put him here in Amen's spot, because I think he definitely deserves to be in the top 10, and I had him just off. But I mean, I would make a case for Thompson over him for sure.
Yeah, I probably would if that'll be with our top 50 list when we have all these players combined.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I also have RJ Barrett at number 8, so it works out. At another good year for Toronto. Yeah, another pretty decent, efficient year. Can score with the ball in his hands, make plays for his teammates, can rebound pretty well. It's just, it's kind of difficult to get, a lot of my list is impact on winning. And when you play for the Raptors, especially last year, it was kind of hard to gauge that sort of thing when you're on a rebuilding team. So that's why I have him at number 8 and not any higher, even with the stats that he averaged. Still, very good year for Toronto. Excited to see if he can impact some winning potentially next year for that Raptors team, because they are sneaky. They definitely could have potential to sneak up the East a little bit.
How many national TV games do they got?
Oh, that's
6?
a great question. Let me
Pull it up.
Let's see. 2
Oh,
games, which is one more than last year. So they're getting an improvement.
doubled their games. They
doubled their games. Joey, who's your number 8 shooting guard?
I was going to say I actually have Barrett one spot higher at 7, just because I do kind of predict the Raptors to do a little better this year, and with him possibly putting up around the similar stats, because his stats, along with a Brandon Ingram who's going to put up his numbers, it's a really good duo right there.
And quick.
But my number 8 is actually Dyson Daniels.
Nice.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was someone I had in the conversation. I would have put Nemhard over him if you didn't have Nemhard on your list. I would definitely put. What's your case for Daniels over Nemhard then?
Well, second in Defensive Player of the Year voting, All Defensive First Team, and Most Improved Player award. Like, he, in the increased role, he went from just under 6 points a game to 14 and became an elite defender. And we all expect, I know we say this almost every year, but I don't know about y'all, but I expect big things out of the Hawks this year with Trae Young and Daniels in that backcourt. Reese
Smoke and mirrors.
Like, I don't know, man.
Smoke and mirrors.
No, Dyson Daniels definitely had a fantastic year defensively. I mean, he really showed his true potential and is definitely an ideal fit next to Trae Young. Spoiler, I didn't have him on my list because I'm a little worried that something that may hurt the Hawks come playoff time is that Dyson Daniels
can't shoot.
He can't shoot right now, for lack of a better word. He can't really shoot. So teams are just going to leave him open. And if he might end up hurting the Hawks more when he's on the floor. I mean, not can't shoot. I mean, he shot 34% from 3, but he's going to be the guy that is going to have to hit shots in order for them to do well, and I'm not so sure he can do that right now.
Improve that, because the previous year he shot 31%. So going from 31% and then increasing your attempts and then upping that percentage, even if it's a little bit, that's a show in the right direction.
It's also only on 3 attempts per game, which has me a little worried with the volume because, again, as Cavs fans, we have all gone through the Isaac Okoro experience where the percentage has gone up each year, but the volume hasn't been that much to where teams are going to respect it. I mean, for the most part, you can also look at it the other way. He's an NBA player that shot 34% on pretty much wide open threes because teams are going to let him shoot. So that's the thing I kind of worry about with him. But, definitely still a young player. He definitely still can improve. And he's going to be a lethal part of what the Hawks do because they should be very good defensively.
And if he wants to learn how to shoot threes better, he's got a perfect mate to coach him on that, and Trae Young.
Absolutely. But, Ben, who is your number 8?
My number 8 is Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls.
Whoa.
Last year, he had, another nice year for him. He averaged, 20.4 points per game. That's nice. Continued to be a pretty good scorer for them, and he, kind of, he was still able to step it up after they traded away Zach LaVine during the trade deadline with the scoring and did well, and the Bulls were, kind of somewhat competitive, partly because of his pretty good scoring. So that's what I got.
Yeah, I love the pull, or I love the pick here at number 8 for Kobe White. Definitely a guy who's talk about Dyson Daniels, who's been improving each year he's been in the league. Kobe White's just gotten better and better, and coming out of UNC, I don't know if I saw him averaging 20 points in the league ever, but sure did last year. The reason I spoiler didn't have him on, I actually didn't even have him in my pool. I totally forgot about Kobe White. Yeah, I got 15 or so names here, and I didn't have him, but
He was actually probably like when I went back. Obviously, I said I had Jalen Green's name up. I actually did have when I went back to it him higher than Jalen Green on my rating. Like I had him just off as well, probably at like 12 or 13.
Yeah, I had him at 12. I had him one spot below Jalen Green, right around Jordan Poole, Cam Thomas.
Yep.
Right? That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right where I had him. But yeah, I love the pick. Hey, Nick, you talked about the parity. We are, 3 spots into this list collectively, and that's the 7th different player that we've mentioned. So it shows the parity with this position.
maybe what are we at? Maybe there'll only be 7 more names if we all got the same 7 top guys. How about that?
It definitely could be now that we are at number 7. So,
Well,
Nick,
I
who is your
have
number
RJ
7?
Barrett, so at 7. So
Oh, yes. You have RJ Barrett. Did I already put that? Yes, you did. Okay, so, Nick, who is your number 7?
This is where I put Desmond Bain, and this was like sort of the region where I'm starting to think about pulling at hairs and figuring out what gets a guy above each other, and it was difficult to figure out. But I had Bain here. Excited for what he's going to be able to do in Orlando next year. Should get a lot of opportunity with Jalen Suggs creating some shots and Paolo and Franz taking most of the offensive what's the word, usage. So he should have a lot of open shots and be able to really excel in his role.
Okay, so after discussion about Desmond Bain, we are going to put him on our list for shooting guard. So for an update on my list, since players are bumped down, now Nembhard is off the list. He's now 11, with Norman Powell at 10, RJ Barrett at number 9. Is that then all that I've got on this list? I thought I named one more player.
Norm.
Oh, yeah, Norman Powell. Oh, yeah, so yeah, Norman Powell at 10, RJ Barrett at 9, which means now my number 8 is Austin Reeves.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Austin Reeves had a very good year for the Lakers this season offensively. I mean, it was just cool. I mean, he's another guy. Talk about not expecting him to be a player that could average 20, especially playing with LeBron and Luka. Like, for a large part of the season, he was one of their most consistent offensive players, for a good, Lakers team that was the 3rd seed in the West.
And his nickname is awesome.
Yeah, AR-15. It's sick. It's very, very, very good. And I was just impressed with how no matter what the lineup looked like with the Lakers, he always found some way to play well. In the playoffs, it's just difficult defensively when you have Luka, Reeves, and LeBron. Like, I think Reeves is a solid defender, but not as like a primary guy, and he kind of had to do that in the series. So that's where he's definitely has a little bit of room to grow, and that's also just kind of how the Lakers are built. But I thought that the season he had definitely has him deserving of a top 8 spot for my list.
Are we all caught up? Ben, do you have?
all right. I'll just reveal. I have an 8. Got bumped back there from 7. I have Zach LaVine there.
Okay.
Still, he averaged a pretty good amount of points last year. His scoring pretty good. He had 23.3 points per game last year. That's combined between the Bulls and the Kings last year, and still a pretty good score as a shooting guard. Not the best defender. I mean, if he was somehow a good defender, could have been rated higher on my list, but
Yeah, I like Levine a lot.
yeah.
I think he's a pretty decent two-way player. Fills it up pretty consistently, and he's got good efficiency, 50-45 from 3 and 82 at the line. So I got him a little bit higher.
Yeah, same here.
At number 7, I don't think I've revealed my number 7.
No, you've not.
Desmond Bain.
Yeah, that's right. All right, that's where Bain is.
And yeah, I had him at 6, so I had him just one spot higher.
Who'd you have at 7, Joey?
RJ Barrett.
Okay.
RJ Barrett. Yep. Okay. So Ben, who do you have at 7?
I have Mikal Bridges at 7.
Mikal Bridges.
Who do you have in the top 5?
I was gonna say I'm so intrigued to hear this top 5.
All right. Speaking of Mikal Bridges,
last episode, Ben had the best point guard list as
Yeah.
voted by the fans.
That's right. So we'll see what we got here this time.
All right, so Mikal Bridges, with him, just getting on my list kind of high at 7 is just, I mean, he was a great defender. He was really impactful in the playoffs. When I was trying to come up with this list, I saw some highlights back from that Celtics series the next hand in the playoffs, and he had multiple of those huge clutch steals on the road in Boston that were really impressive. His defense is just phenomenal, and he's a good scorer to go along with that. So he's a
Didn't he have a 50 ball this
pretty
year?
good two-way player.
Did he? I don't know if he did. I felt like the regular season was a little bit up and down for him.
I could have swore.
But he did end up making my list. Let's see, what was his season high was 41 this year.
41.
On Christmas against the Spurs. That's right. I forgot about that. But yeah, I did have him a little bit higher on my list. 6 is where I have Desmond Bain as well, just like Joey.
I got AR-15 at 6.
Oh, nice. All right, AR-15 making it at number 6. But Desmond Bain, just a very good player. I mean, the perfect fit there for the Magic. I think they definitely have potential to be to jump up in the East after just an injury-filled season last year. I still think that there's a little bit more that they need to do because now they do have shooting with Desmond Bain, but he's still like the only guy that can really shoot the ball on that team. But he's going to be so important, and he can do a lot of different things. He can shoot the ball. He can handle the ball out of pick and roll. Good passer, good defender. So
hey, Franz Wagner can shoot on 2K, so
can't shoot not consistently in real
with
life.
that logic, he should be able to shoot in real life.
Yeah, right. We'll see about that one.
I will say, because since I also have Desmond Bain at 6, I will say I kind of have a little bit of might be a hot take, but it's something you just don't hear a whole lot about. I predict Desmond Bain to actually hit like a 50-40-90 season this year.
Okay.
Like he shot 48% from the field, 39% from 3, and 89% from free throw line. Like
close.
He's very close. And I think like with the more like because you have Paolo and Franz and Suggs when he comes back, like there's other guys that he will be open. He will be getting better looks than when you're with Memphis and sometimes with Jaren Jackson and John Morant both out. You're the only guy.
Yeah, definitely could be the case. I like the take there. Nick, Austin Reeves at 6. Why do you have Reeves at number 6?
Well, like you said, he had a really good year, and as the third option on the Lakers team, I think he's gonna have like a ton of opportunities and stuff. He's a great scorer. He's a guy that's gonna be getting paid one way or another at the end of his contract. I think this season, and if he does move on from the Lakers, like he's gonna go somewhere else and possibly be like he's got lead guy potential, like at least a 1A 1B sort of thing. Like he can definitely be LeBron's Kyrie if it was like 5 years ago or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he's someone that needs the ball in his hands really to have his full potential because he's a great pick and roll player, very, solid shooter. I just really like him as a player. I mean, he just does a lot of things very, very well. Like it shows like he's one of those guys, like I just said, I don't know if he does anything great, but he does a lot of things, just very solid. And there you get a guy that averages 24 and 6, on a competitive team. We'll see what he can do this year. I mean, he's a guy that's improved every year since he's been in the league. We'll see if he can get even better than this. I feel like it'd be hard to, but you never know. Maybe he can. It'll be fun to see.
That's a guy who's capable of dropping a 50 ball.
Yeah, definitely is. Ben, who's your number 6?
I also have Austin Reeves there. So, yeah, let's get me Nick agree on that. And, yeah, kind of the same reasons as Nick. He go off for some pretty good scoring nights, and he really improved last year. And, I believe he can get even better going into this year, be, a great scorer, alongside Luka LeBron again. And he's not a bad defender, decent defender, could bring some good defense too at times.
I feel like I'm the odd man out because I don't have A. Reeves on my list at all.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought I had him high for having him at 8, but I'm glad that he made your guys.
No, he's definitely worthy of consideration. I guess in my eyes, obviously, since I just hate LA, it might just be that. But like, it might
We're
be
definitely
fun.
gonna have
It
more
might
than
be
7
fun.
names here.
It
Definitely
might
gonna have
be-
more than 7 names.
Yeah, for sure.
might be
Now-
fogging my glasses, but I definitely can see it. I think he's
Don't even try and make the case because you're wrong. So
he's a
move
top.
on.
I think
Let's
he's
move
that
on.
good just because of Luke and LeBron.
You're the one guy out.
I think
So
when
what does
he
that tell you?
go by himself, I don't think he does the same.
He's top 10, and you messed up. It's
He
okay. Let's move
reminds
on.
me a lot of a Jordan Poole-ish, low key.
Boo! That's a horrible take.
I'm pretty sure his highest scoring games are from when Luca or LeBron have been out and he's had the ball more.
Then I definitely am wrong. But like again, it's probably my LA glasses just fogging it because I hate them.
The pool thing isn't as bad as I made it sound. That's actually not terribly.
Yeah, I guess like statistically they might be similar, but I don't even think they're on the. I feel like they're not on the same tier at this point.
Well,
But
pool didn't make anybody's list, and Austin's on 3 of ours. So
yeah, and Reeves can impact. He impacted winning at a third
Sure.
option level with Luca and
Yeah.
LeBron, who had to come off the bench. But anyways, now we are in the top 5. Top number 5 is where I have Mikal Bridges.
also, I have Mikal Bridges at 5.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
just inconsistent regular season, but he still played every single game. It was his first year in New York, having to switch back to a different role than he was with the Nets. And like you said, Ben made some key plays in the playoffs that allowed them to upset the Celtics when not many people in the entire world had that happening. So ended up having a pretty decent year, and he ends up being a top 5 shooting guard on Nick in my list.
Yeah, I forgot about all the defensive stuff he did in the playoffs until Ben reminded me.
Yeah, definitely a solid playoffs for him. Ben, what's your number 5? This will be fun. I'm excited to hear this.
Number 5. Yeah, he just has really impacted winning recently. For the Celtics.
Derek White.
Derek White at 5. He's really impacted winning for the Celtics recently. I mean, he's just been great defensively for them while he's been there the whole time on the Celtics, and his scoring's gotten even better there. I would say he got better score last year. It's pretty good scoring nights last year, and I'm this kind of just projecting into next year too. But I mean, he's gonna have such a big role on their team next year, and they're really gonna be relying on him to score next year. And I believe he can step it up and score pretty well while continuing to provide a great defense. So yeah.
Yeah, he quickly turns into their second option, second best player after being their 4th or 5th the last couple of seasons. I don't think I ever mentioned it because of the Bane thing. Derek White was number 7 for me, so he was in the middle of where you all had it.
Okay.
For similar reasons, just a great player, and talk about a guy that impacts winning. He's one of the best examples of that in the league. Joey, who's your number 5?
I actually have Zach LaVine, who great scorer. He can be a number 1 option on a team, and him in Sacramento now for like a full season. I feel like just Sabonis will get him the ball exactly where he wants it. A little predicting, and obviously I'm high on my Kings.
Yep, Zach LaVine is who I had number 4.
So we just switched because I had Mikal Bridges at 4.
Oh, perfect. Makes it easy right there. I mean, LaVine had a great year. I mean, 51% from the field, 45 from 3. I didn't even realize, looking at the stats, he shot the exact same percentages on the same shots for both the Bulls and the Kings. I mean, he had a great year. Regardless of the uniform.
He heard all the media. I mean, everyone was talking about get Zach LaVine out of Chicago. He's washed. What's the package going to be back? And I also had him 4th because I think, like Joey said, I don't think anybody else on this list below him is capable of being a number 1 option like the way that he can. So
Yeah, I mean, again, the jury is still out on whether or not he can be a winning player because let's see, he's entering his 12th year in the league and he's played in one playoffs. So jury's still out on that, and we'll see what happens with the Kings.
I also don't hate Ben's Derek White at number 5. I think he deserves a lot of respect and having him top 5. I mean, he hit one of the most memorable playoff shots in the last couple of years, and that's like number 9 on the most impressive things he's done, honestly, if you look at it.
Yeah, I had him at 10, obviously, but he is someone after this year, with how we predict the Celtics are going to be, he could be a top 5 guy for me by the end of the year easily.
Yeah, for sure. So, Ben, who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Desmond Bean.
Oh,
I think
Okay. Makes sense.
he's, a pretty good scorer while also being able to defend good. He brings a good toughness, and yeah, I mean, kind of it just projecting how good I think he is now going into the Magic, and I believe, he can, even though he's a third option, I guess once again on the Magic can be even better as a scorer than on the Grizzlies last year, be pretty good with that, while also playing some good, tough defense too. I believe, he can step up and hopefully knock down some big threes for the Magic next year too. The Magic are going to need that badly for him. That's a big reason why they signed him. They need better 3-point shooting.
Ben, let me ask you this. If you talk to a Magic fan, do you think they would be more excited about Desmond Bane or Zach LaVine coming?
I mean, if I were a Magic fan, I'd be more excited about Desmond Bean. I think Desmond Bean. He brings the good defense too.
That's interesting because I would agree, even though I have Levine higher on the list. I just, I think Bane, because of the size, he fits the defensive mold there. But I think Levine's a better scorer still. But I think Magic fans would be more excited about Bane.
That's sometimes like how I try and think of things when I'm doing it.
I don't think Zach LaVine would be a good fit on the Magic, in my opinion.
I would have been stoked with either of them going. Like, that was definitely a spot where I wanted Zach LaVine to go, was Orlando or the Detroit Pistons, like one of those teams that just needs a scorer. And I think it would have been great. What about you guys? That's a good question. What do you guys say?
For the Zach LaVine or Desmond Bane?
Yeah, who would you be more excited for if the Magic had acquired them? Heading into the offseason, what would have been the better acquisition?
I would probably say Zach LaVine, low-key. Just because I think if you have someone like him because we're talking about Desmond Bane being the third option, that means Franz Wagner is your second option. That man I love him. He's a great player. I think he really can be, but until he shows me he can be like a consistent scorer and shooter, I don't have faith in him as like a second option. And if you give me Zach LaVine as the second option to Paolo Banchero's first option,
45% from 3.
It'd be nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it definitely would have been nuts. I will say Franz.
The highlights.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Franz in the small forward list. He did average 24 points per game last season, so he was very good. It's just that shooting component. That definitely is close. Nick, do you say LaVine or Bane for the Magic?
LaVine, and that was kind of my point. Like, that's how I try and think of it when I'm making the list sometimes. Like, I think Magic fans would have rather had LaVine than Bane, but Bane's a good, and that's why I had Bane 7 and LaVine 4.
I think the one knock I actually have on Bane is just the injury. It is like, I know last year he played, 69, 68 games or whatever it was, but the previous year was like, I have it right here, 42 and then 58.
My knock is that he needs to hit the weight room and get some bigger biceps.
Yeah. I mean, the injury thing, I'd say the same thing towards LaVine, too. Because, I mean, he had a great year this year, but just one season ago, he played in 25 games, and his percentages were like 5 to 10% worse. He shot 10% worse from 3 the previous season. So we still have to figure out which is the right range for LaVine, because he could have just had an incredibly hot year, and he regresses back. But I definitely think it's an interesting conversation. Levine would have been a great fit for the Magic either way. The other thing, I mean, now with the Magic, there's really, when you're going up against them and trying to score against that defense, there's not really a target guy that you try to go after. There would have been one if Levine was there, so I think that's why they probably would have preferred Bane, but still a great conversation. I think that's definitely close. Let us know what you guys think on that for sure. But now we're in the top three, and just like the point guards, we should have the same three, right? We should have Quentin Grimes, Colin Sexton, and Shaden Sharp.
Yes!
Oh, yeah. But no, number three. Joey, who's your number three?
I have D-Book, and it's really the winning. That just knocked it down. I don't know about y'all, because the other two guys I have ahead of them, and I think we all should, is the winning. The other guys have led their teams to playoffs and to high records. The Suns as a whole, I think, is more of chaotic and terrible, and that's the reason they're bad. It's not on Devin Booker, and he's that fantastic, and he's changed his role, like becoming almost a point guard over the last couple of years in his playmaking. And over the Olympics, he was so flipping good. But I think it's just the winning. They just don't have a good record, and it just impacts you, especially if you're going to be a top three kind of guard at that position.
Yeah, and he still had a decent, not decent. He had a very good year. I mean, 25, 4, and 7. Even the efficiencies went down. But even yes, the Suns, it was very chaotic since Matt Ishbia bought the team and started selling everything to try to win so quickly after they had just been to the finals. But even with all that happening, last season, even at the worst of our predictions, Nick had them at the end of the play-in, and they still did worse. There's a reason when we did our GFFs, the Mavericks were the winner of this, but I had the Suns, and they were definitely second on that because there's no way that they should have been that bad. But still a great player, Devin Booker. He'll have the ball a lot more next season as probably the point guard next to Jalen Green, and we'll see how that experiment goes. We'll talk about that more when we get to the Suns in our previews. But Nick, you didn't say anything. Do you have Booker at 3, or do you have someone else?
I think everybody has Booker at 3.
Okay, so Booker at 3. All
yeah,
right.
Booker at 3.
Perfect. All right, so Devin Booker at 3. So now it's down to these final two guys. I'm curious. Joey, I want you to go first. Who do you have at number 2?
You want me to go?
Yes.
Well, as much I know I showed a lot of hometown bias by putting Garland and being the only one to put Garland on the point guard list. I had
at number 9, by the way, not even 10.
9, not even
number 9.
At 9. But I'm not showing it here. Donovan Mitchell is my number 2 for the shooting guard. Just he is phenomenal. He's one of the best players I've seen firsthand. Definitely top 10 players I've seen firsthand in person, and he's just consistent. He brought it in the playoffs when we even were starting to look down. He turned it up another level just to try to get us there. It wasn't enough, but he's a playoff performer. He is a regular season performer. He brings you the highlight moments. His defense has gotten better since coming to Cleveland, in my opinion. He's almost a pretty much complete player. He just has to get past the second round.
Yeah, sadly, yeah.
That's literally it.
Did either of you guys have Mitchell at 2 as well?
Yeah, I have him at 2.
Yeah,
I mean, no, I'll talk about him because he continues to impress me.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from the most skeptical Cleveland fan you could imagine, Donovan is a buck. He's the truth, as real as it gets. I was in the building for his 72-point game.
Oh my, yeah, that was crazy.
But I would still argue that if Ant was on the team, that we would have either we got 4 All-Stars, and Ant I think would have maybe have accomplished more than a second round exit in his time if they had swapped roles and destinies and teams.
I would also say though that if Mitchell and that Cavs team got to play a flawed Lakers roster and a Warriors team without Steph Curry, then they would have also done
Mitchell on the Wolves roster.
Yeah, Mitchell on the Wolves. If they were switched, the same thing probably happens.
You think he would have been in the finals by now?
I don't know. I think that we would be in the same predicament.
Yeah.
What else? The other thing I want to
Yeah,
say is between these
so-
top three guys, like in terms of talent, skill, like it is splitting hairs. They're
Oh, yeah.
they're all like some of the best players in the world.
They're literally all elite scorers. They've developed their game to cover other aspects where they've become elite or really good defenders and great playmakers. Like they really can do it all, even from a shooting guard position.
Yeah, listen, I mean, these top three guys, Edwards, Mitchell, and Booker, although none of them have won a title yet, or two of them haven't made a finals, and Mitchell hasn't made it past the second round, I think I can confidently say all three of these guys can win a championship as a number one option in the right, situation.
I think you said two of them weren't in the finals. Book was in the.
Oh yeah, and Mitchell haven't. Yeah. But no, Donovan Mitchell. Just want to give him so much credit for just the season he had and doing less to achieve more. That was really the big thing. I mean, he kind of took a step back to empower Evan Mobley, who turned into a star, Defensive Player of the Year season, All-NBA player. Garland was back to an All-Star. I mean, they kept 64 wins with him taking a step back.
Yeah.
And then in the playoffs, when they needed him to step up with all the guys injured, I mean, he played about as well as he could have played. I mean, honestly, with the circumstances and how great the Pacers were playing, and the injuries, it is hard to see, much more that the Cavs could have done and what Mitchell could have done. I think that there is, an argument that Mitchell could be number one because Edwards, in the playoffs, they obviously made the conference finals again, but didn't put up much of a fight in the conference finals, and they played way weaker competition. But gotta give credit to Ant-Man at number one for continuing to just be a stud. I mean, this season, I remember at the start of the season, I was talking about why is Anthony Edwards taking 10 threes per game? This is crazy. And then proceeds to shoot like 39.5% on 10 attempts per game. I mean, it doesn't matter how many you're taking if you're knocking them down. So we'll see if he can continue that high volume shooting next year and just improving the playmaking and the passing, when he gets double teamed. That was probably the only thing that we saw like in the playoffs, especially against the Thunder. But both those guys, Mitchell and Edwards, incredible players, and definitely deserving of these top two spots.
Yeah, absolutely. For superstars, and yeah, they're well deserving of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is it for the top 10 shooting guards list. Definitely a lot more parity. A lot of guys getting love here today, which is definitely great. But that is it. At the end, our top three ends up being the same. So yeah, definitely.
Kind of how we predicted in the beginning of the episode. The top three are pretty set. After that, it's kind of a wash.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I was definitely more nervous than I needed to be. Sorry, that was the last thing I'll say. I was more nervous than I needed to be. We did a good job, boys.
Yeah, very, very good job. Next episode, we got the small forwards list. So we'll see what we got in store for that one. So that'll be fun. Make sure you stay tuned for that one. But that's it for us here.
For what, baby? Let's go.
In the Turkish League.
In the Turkish League.
Oh, that's right. But you guys have anything else before we get out of here?
Don't think so.
All right, we'll head on out of here, man. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more NBA content. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.